Welcome back to Advance Wars 2. Last time we did Drake's first mission and got very off topic. This time we're not really going to be, because I've got a lot to talk about in this mission. So firstly, the laser's back, and it can fire every single turn now. Secondly, another old friend is back. Yes, we have to deal with Ada again. And Flak doesn't even realize they're in Green Earth. Yeah, Ada is back. This is not going to be good. So, also, we have Sami here. So, this is actually kind of an interesting mission, both story and gameplay-wise. And wow, we haven't seen generic Orange Star grunts for a very long time. So, hey, considering that they're one of the only two countries who don't get glitched, still. And apparently her reply is awesome music. I can totally get behind that. So, once again, Sami has been surrounded by the enemy and needs rescuing. Like, again, what is it with that happening to Sami in this campaign? It's like someone on the writing staff, like, doesn't like her or something. I don't know, it's weird. But anyway, this bit that's coming up right here is just pretty hilarious. Yeah, you can probably kind of imagine what that response was. It's just, they leave it pretty much up to your imagination. Yeah, exactly, no reason to attack them head on. Now, this line here is a bit weird. I think that's a mistranslation. What that line actually means is that you can still win by HQ capture. The thing is, you really don't want to do that, because the HQ is extremely heavily guarded, there are troops everywhere, it'll take ages to get your troops up there, and you've got all these laser cannons here. Destroying the lasers is a much quicker alternative. In fact, it's so ridiculous that if you fail this mission, the advice they give you is, don't worry about the HQ capture, just focus on the lasers. Yeah, I don't even see why they even point that out at the start of the mission. Now again, remember here, the lasers can fire every turn, so you need to be careful here. Make sure you keep your bombers out of laser range, and remember the lasers are a bit more spread out than you probably think, so again, be careful. Also, just like Eagle's first mission, actually, we've got a lot of anti-air units to contend with, so Eagle, I will admit, Eagle does tend to get the tougher Green Earth missions, and one fighter could pretty much take down everything over there, except the problem is, I take down one of Ada's bombers, chances are he's going to get his super, and that's going to be insane. Yup, again, remember, we've got to readjust ourselves. We're facing Ada again, and that means we need to keep an eye on the power meter at all times. Because generally, and in this mission it's even more cheap, because Ada just happens to have an enormous pre-deployed army of really expensive units. So much as scratching them will most likely give him his superpower. Yeah, typical Ada. Now, here we have Sami. Now, once again, like in the Yellow Comet Lab mission, if Sami is wiped out, you lose this mission instantly. Now, here, there actually is a more justifiable reason for this happening. Your whole goal is to protect her troops. So, again, if you let her get wiped out, you instantly fail this. Now, you don't want to go too far out here, because there are a lot of rockets positioned around here. The enemy will take ages to actually get stuff through these woods to get to her, but remember, you gotta watch out for the bombers. Bombers and helicopters, those things are really annoying, and you don't want Sami to get hit by those. Again, Sami has a very small force, and it's highly likely that she won't really be able to do much in this mission. But, again, this is a rescue mission, she's not really, I mean, yeah. Her troops mostly exist as sort of targets to defend rather than... And, by the way, yeah, I kind of want to take out those bombers because otherwise Sami's going to be in a lot of trouble. She does have one anti-air and missiles, but if those things get hit, then things are going to end very, very badly. Now, the other thing about this mission is speed is of the essence here. If you take too long here, Ada's forces will get to the point where you can't possibly defeat them. And eventually he'll start getting medium tanks in towards Sami. By the time that happens, you're pretty much screwed. So you have to finish this mission really quickly. Fortunately, Eagle is very good at this kind of thing. His main forte is missions that involve destroying a map-based structure, or a group of map-based structures in this case, and in the last mission's case, very quickly. He is extremely good at that. So, okay, good, laser's not there, just gotta be careful of the lasers. Again, you want to make sure that Eagle's bombers stay at full strength, because... Now, I'm going to ignore that bomber there, because it actually doesn't really threaten anything we have, except for the anti-airs. And we have our fighters for anti-air support. Those bombers aren't really that much of a threat. So basically your main goal here is to get your bombers at full strength over to those lasers, like this. Gotta check the missile range. I'm pretty sure I'm out of missile range. And yes, Eagle's bombers can destroy these things in one shot, which is very helpful for this mission. And yes, you might notice by the video length, this is actually quite a quick mission. You have to wrap this up quickly, because if you don't, Sami is in serious trouble. Again, I do like how pretty much every commander's own missions in, again now, yeah, Ada already has his normal power, see? Basically, every commander's missions really, basically have their own style to them, and it's actually, I just really like the way this game's set up like that. So again, like Eagle being the air specialist, all of his missions revolve around lightning-fast air raids, and again, like, Sonya's are very tactical and have a lot of fog of war, and, well, the only thing that I'm a little annoyed at is that Sami doesn't get very many. She gets probably exactly one mission where she gets to show her real strengths. Yeah, that was all the way back in Orange Star, Mission 6, I believe. I have no idea why those infantry went down. I honestly have no idea. But, I mean, admittedly, she did get a lot of missions where she could show off her strengths in the first game's campaign, but here it's, again... I probably, just because I feel bad for Sami and want to show just how incredibly overpowered she can be, I might eventually record a outing of her in War Room, because Sami is very good in War Room, and I mean really good. She's so good, in fact, that also don't lose that APC, otherwise your rockets and missiles will be useless once they run out of ammo, and you don't want that. Anyway, you also want to keep your mechs alive, because Sami's mechs are very powerful, but if they get hit by helicopters or things like that, they're not going to like it. Like I was saying, Sami is incredibly good in War Room, to the point where a lot of the later missions are almost impossible to S-rank without using her. She's that good. But, speaking of Sami, now that I've got the main sort of stuff about this mission out of the way, I guess I can talk about something that this mission is kind of, you know, lends me to talking about. And that is regarding the, well, interesting relationship between Eagle and Sami. Now, oh, I got hit by lasers. See? Always gotta watch the lasers. Make sure you check your laser ranges and don't be an idiot like I was there. At least I can be somewhat thankful that it only hit a few things that weren't that important to me. I mean, I have more infantry back at base. Now that APC is kind of important to me, so I want to take out the things attacking it, otherwise my air units could be in a bit of trouble when... You know, I'll be honest with you, oh wow, Sami does not have enough anti-air units to fend off that many assaults. See, this is what I told you about being really quick, and you probably do want to send at least one fighter over to protect Sami from air units. That will be swarming her with both copters and bombers, and Sami's one anti-air and one missiles can only do so much, so yeah. Now, your HQ is slightly... Okay, now Ada's most likely going to get a super next turn, and that's going to be very bad, because that'll mean that Sami gets swarmed with copters. Again, I'm pretty sure losing her units does not count towards her technique ranking, and I have exactly enough for my normal power. You know, that could be interesting. Then again, though, Lightning Strike is basically totally vital to... Yeah, I want to stay out of range of that. Lightning Strike is pretty much totally vital to getting a good speed ranking on this mission, so probably want to save up for that. And always make sure your bombers are out of missile range, because if you accidentally leave your bombers in missile range, that's very bad. I'm sure that I at least had one take of this. I can actually get in there, can't I? That's actually pretty cool. But I remember having at least one take of this mission where I did accidentally leave a full health bomber in range of a full health missile unit. That was just downright embarrassing. But anyway, oh yes, I am deliberate, I believe, or not. You know what, I think I have to... I think at this point I was debating whether or not I want to give Adder his super or not. Thing is, it's inevitable he will be getting his super anyway, so best thing is to pretty much just let him get it and then just not really have to worry about it anymore, because I want my Lightning Strike. I can kill that bomber, but that's going to result in my fighter getting missiled. Thing is, I think I really need to do this. Again, if we're in a rescue mission like this, Sammy's... The lives of her troops matter more than the lives of mine, so sorry fighter there, but you're gonna have to make a heroic sacrifice there. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten, seriously. Like, I need that bomber gone, and I mean, that fighter is going to probably die, but I can probably afford to do that, because... Yes, again, Sammy's lives matter more than ours, because if we lose all of them, we fail this mission instantly. And Adder most likely has his super already. And we're just holding back and watching out for... I might need to make a tank there. You do want to see if you can get some infantry to capture some outlying airports. Chances are, though, the units that you start with are generally more than capable of totally winning this mission for you. But if you need extra support, those airports are always open for you. Again, in the hints you get for failing this, they do tell you that the only properties you really need to focus on capturing are airports. So that's really what your infantry are for. Careful of those missiles. Careful of them. And again, before I got interrupted, I guess I can talk about, again, Eagle and Sammy have kind of an interesting relationship, which I admit I actually am glad I went back and watched videos of the first game, because their relationship was mostly developed in Advance Wars 1. I mean, there is hints of it in this, but some of it doesn't make as much sense until you know what's, yeah, of course he has a super, what happened between them in the first game. It's kind of weird, though, because Eagle originally started out as an enemy in that game. In fact, I probably haven't actually mentioned this. Basically, in that game, Eagle was an enemy and he was pretty relentless about attacking Orange Star. Later on, you find out that, spoilers for Advance Wars 1, by the way, just mute the video for a few moments while I talk about this. This is pretty much the only plot detail in Advance Wars 1 that pretty much matters, but anyway. Turns out that, obviously, he was attacking Orange Star because he thought that Andy had invaded Green Earth. Of course, everyone kept pointing out to him that Andy was in no way capable of doing that, but he wouldn't listen. But it's kind of interesting, because as you see in this game, Eagle is probably not as patriotic as Olaf is, but he is, like, he really does not take well to people attacking his country, and you found that out in the first game, and that's why something that happens a little bit later, well, you'll see. It's actually a reason why in Dual Strike, going on about weird things, Dual Strike is going to be quite relevant later on, but for the time being I'll just mention that it's the reason why if you somehow team him and Hawk in Dual Strike, they have one of the biggest negative modifiers in the game, and it makes perfect sense, because Hawk basically devastated his homeland. I mean, Olaf and Lash have a pretty bad modifier too because of that. I do like all the things they took into account with the tag power modifiers in that game. There are a lot of interesting things there, but no, anyway. Anyway, though, what I was saying was, basically, turns out that it was a black hole-created clone of Andy that did it. Andy has in fact been cloned several times over the course of this series, but It was a black hole clone of Andy, obviously, and oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, your sacrifice will not be in vain. Oh, I had a feeling they would survive just barely. If I can just keep them alive. Oh, yeah, so if Andy uses a super, he's going to be rushing forward towards Sami very, very fast. So you want to be prepared for that and try and defend. Sami might need to pull back to the mountains if that happens. Can't really waste any of my bombers taking out these tanks, so sorry, anti-airs. You did your purpose for, the short time I had you. Anyway. So, yeah. Basically, Eagle was tricked into thinking that Orange Star invaded him, so he was attacking them. Along the way, he has several run-ins with Sami. Well, Sami's first debut mission is against Eagle. And if you actually don't have to use Sami for all those missions, the game just really wants you to. Again, you can only unlock Eagle as a playable character in the first game. The only way to do that involves you're basically forced to use Sami in all of the Green Earth missions in that game, which leads to a lot more development between her. Well, actually not so much, because she only actually fights Eagle in one of them, all the rest are against Drake, but at least, yeah. And then, of course, after doing that, you get Eagle as well, no, actually, let me basically say, Sami always seems to think that Eagle's not exactly a bad guy, he's just misguided, and she seems to keep going on about that. And then later on in the campaign, you find that Sami seems to get very, very concerned about Eagle's safety. Very concerned. Especially towards the end, when they're finally on the same side, and one mission ends with Eagle staying behind to hold off enemy forces, and Sami even offers to stay with him, but yeah, he tells her to go because, yeah, he won't have her being in danger. And then, of course, if you fulfill the conditions, he comes back as an ally in the final battle, and Sami is immensely relieved. And then, of course, you get that one final mission, which is kind of weird, where you have Eagle and Andy fighting against each other, which apparently, on hard campaign, is one of the most sadistically hard things in the entire history of the series, and is not only ridiculously hard, it's pretty much impossible to walk through due to the fact that it's so open and the AI is so random. And they put Fog of War in there. Okay. Oh, right, I forgot about that. That should be Captain Obvious. Anyway, again, so from what I'm getting at here, there is some obvious hints of ship tease between Eagle and Sami, and this mission is pretty much the only one in this game that really has that. Now, I'm about to Lightning Strike and destroy everything, so I should probably get my facts out of the way quickly. This mission is really the only thing they have in this game. And then in Dual Strike, now this is something I didn't actually notice when I first played, because I wasn't actually, well, I didn't use them in the final battle. I believe I used Jake and Rachel, yeah, in the final battle. They're the team that the game recommends you use, and Jake, I admit, is really, really good in Dual Strike's final battle because the whole map is pretty much plain, so, but anyway. Forget that. What I was saying is, if you team Eagle and Sami together in the final battle, they have a very interesting conversation where Eagle does a promise me if we both survive this thing, and hilariously, Sami is actually genre savvy enough to realize that anyone who makes a promise like that is most likely going to end up dead, and that Eagle may as well tell her that he's a few days away from retirement. I can't believe I missed that conversation when I first played that game, and then I went and lost my copy of the game. I honestly cannot believe I missed that conversation, because that's one of the most... It's funny, it's hilarious and heartwarming at the same time, but anyway, okay, Sami's mechs can pretty much handle those tanks, so I'll take out the copters. So yeah, but the main thing in Dual Strike that is most notable about Eagle and Sami, that is part of the reason why I am such a massive supporter of that ship, is because the two of them have one of the single most incredibly broken tank powers in the entire freaking game. Now, normally, I got a little annoyed at how broken tag powers were. Not in the case of Eagle and Sami. Eagle and Sami's was the fun kind of broken, and I mean the really fun kind of broken. Basically, not only does it give one of the biggest tag power boosts in the entire game, I mean, they have a 3-star affinity with each other, not only does that happen, but basically, it gives you 3 turns. Provided that you are leading with Eagle. Make sure that you are leading with Eagle before you actually use it, otherwise you'll only get 2 turns. Basically what it does is it gives you 1 turn of normal, 1 turn of Lightning Strike, where all your air units are superpowered and you'll basically bomb everything. Then you switch over to Sami, and you get 1 turn of her infantry being able to freely capture everything. Now in smaller maps, Eagle and Sami's tag power, despite the fact that it takes ages to charge up, Eagle and Sami's, and it's kind of fitting that I used Eagle and Sami's powers both in the same turn. But anyway, Eagle and Sami's tag power is basically on smaller maps pretty much an instant I win button, basically. It's just so fun to use. It's incredibly broken, but it's just, I mean, I admit it is mitigated a little bit by the fact that, well, they do have they both have the biggest power meters in the game, and some of the biggest power meters in the game, and it takes ages to get it charged up. Once it's charged, again, it's pretty much the I win button. So, yeah, that is part of the reason why I completely ship that pairing. It, you know, harkens almost foreshadows another Intelligent Systems game, Fire Emblem Awakening, where couples somehow gain the power to destroy everything! Oh, so fun. Anyway, approaching the end of this mission, and it's only been 4 days. Yes, this mission is very quick, and I mean, if you don't finish this quickly, you're pretty much screwed. I do admit I had a lot of trouble with this when I first played, but make sure, again, go for Lightning Strike, aim all your bombers at the cannons, don't worry so much about other ground targets, your bombers are there to destroy the cannon lasers and not much else, and make sure you at least send 1 fighter over to help Sami. But again, speed is of the essence here. Haha! But anyway, again, I'll just mention just how much that so, yeah, Eagle and Sami are probably one of the only, well, outside of Days of, well, if Days of Ruin only really had 1 sort of main shipping that was kind of there, but, Eagle and Sami are probably the only, thing kind of close to shipping that it, well, apart from the possible history between Grit and Nell that actually got kind of, actually, yeah, I actually didn't realize a few things there, and I think we're about to win this, so are we going to win this now? Or are we going to do some stuff first? I'm not sure. But anyway, I didn't actually realize this because I haven't played the first game. It's not so much implied as it is outright stated that the reason why Grit left the Orange Star Army was because he was in love with Nell, but he knew that Max was as well, and he didn't want to ruin his friendship with Max, so he left. And there is actually a mission, it's actually optional, it's only on one of the possible routes of the first game. The first game has a few branching paths, and on one of them, there's a bit where Grit actually, where Nell actually openly confronts Grit about it, and kind of interesting. But apart from that, that's Eagle and Sami is pretty much the only one of the few actual ships, and there is some implied Jake and Sasha in Dual Strike. Although the final mission seems to have people in the tactics room shipping Jake and Rachel. Why do I keep forgetting her name? Jake and Rachel, even though the epilogue mostly ships him with Sasha. It's kind of weird. He doesn't actually have a special tag power with Sasha, but he does have a 5% extra affinity with her, which there are some people who... Now, again, I'm pretty sure Eagle and Sami is 125%. I'm pretty sure it's not the highest there is in the game. That would be Kanbei and Sonya, actually. But anyway, finally we finished this. Yeah, that was pretty quick. So, yes. Also, again, I do love the fact the game seems to ship together the 2 characters who have the most overpowered supers in the game. And again, yeah. But, yeah. So, anyway. Yeah, this is probably as far as the shipping goes in this game, but if you want more of it, use them in the final battle of Dual Strike. They have the most hilarious conversation ever. There are actually a whole lot of unique conversations in Dual Strike, actually. Like, every single pair that has a special tag affinity gets a unique conversation for every mission where you can possibly use the pair in the campaign mode. And that's something I really like about Dual Strike, but this isn't Dual Strike, so guess I'll see you later.